Hey guys, Michael J. Solar here, and welcome to another episode of Stuck in a Truck. On today's episode, as you can see on your screen, we have a guest today on Stuck in a Truck. So this is really exciting for me because this is essentially my first virtual guest. Last time we had a guest was my friend from Australia. So this is going to be pretty awesome. And her name is Mercy Miles Jenkins. She lives up in Boston. Yeah?
I'm actually in Springfield, Massachusetts, so I'm like,
so the Massachusetts area, which I automatically just assume is Boston, as most people assume. If you're anywhere near the New York region, you're in New York, and if you're in Maryland, you must be through Baltimore. So she's in the Massachusetts area, and she is a book coach. So if you are looking to possibly produce your own book or launch a book, or if you have book ideas, this is the person that you're going to want to reach out to. She will give you her addresses and things like that to reach out throughout the show. But I'm going to give over the microphone to her and allow her to tell us a little bit more about her. Where do you really originally come from? As we spoke originally, we noticed that you have an English accent. So I have to tell the story before I actually hand the microphone. Let me say this. So I've not met many people from across the pond, as they say, right? Across the pond, right? So they say across the pond. And one of the things that really stood out in our conversation was the fact that I actually recognized that even though we both speak English, there is a huge language barrier. So
yes, there is.
Knowing that she is a life, not necessarily a life coach, but a book coach is probably really cool because she automatically understands how crucial writing can be, because she knows that even though we're speaking and writing the same language, there could be an interpretation issue. So we had a good conversation about it. It was a really cool thing. So I just wanted to start off with something like that. And now I'm going to hand it over to you. So what got you into working with people and books?
Well, interestingly enough, what happened, Michael, is I had my own story to tell, right?
Okay.
So everyone believes that they don't have a story, but they do have a story. Their testimony is something that needs to be shared with other people. It encourages people. It empowers them. It lets them know that they're not alone. So I had my own story to tell. My own story, like I told you, is that I was actually in a cult for years. And so being mute for a number of years, my only outlet was to write it down. And so that's what I did. I started to get involved in writing poetry as an avenue to actually heal myself. And so that's how I actually got into it. Yeah. And so now today I have written, published 5 books, and we'll probably finish 5 in the next 6 months. So I'm aiming to do 10 by March. Yes.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, when you talk about publishing a book, so are you doing more of the, like, are you going through a major publisher? Or are you doing the create space where you're self-publishing? And what do you recommend if out of either?
Yeah, so I do all my stuff through, like you said, Create Space, which is now I'm KDP. So I do it through there. So I'm a self-publisher, so I self-publish my work. One day I will definitely go through traditional publishing. I know that's definitely a part of my goals, so that will happen. And so it just really depends on what people's goals is, right? And so, self-publishing has changed the game, just pretty much like YouTube has changed the game for music. Being able to download your music, it gives the artist more freedom and independence. And it just gives people that access to go ahead and to fulfill their goals. So for some people, traditional publishing is not the route for now, but maybe it is for later. And so for now, they can, with the little they have, they can definitely go ahead and produce a book.
Wow. So you said that, now that you can self-publish, you're able to, really just have self-creativity. Is there a reason to go back to the traditional way? Is there a perk to it, or not so much?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the individual's goals and their capacity. So for me, certainly, I definitely want to get my story out, and traditional publishing will definitely be the way to do that. Although many people, especially right now, have been extremely successful doing self-publishing, right? And so it just really depends on your grind and your hustle.
Wow. Okay.
One person that comes to mind, I don't know if you know of Goggins. I love him. I'm a fan of Goggins. Go hard. And so he was approached by many traditional companies, and he said, "Nah, I'm going to go on my own." And so he did. So he made more money with his hustle, going out there and promoting his stuff. So some people think of traditional publishing because they're like, you know what, I'm not up for that hustle, right? I'm
Right.
not up for being here, there, everywhere. But really and truly, even if you go for traditional publishing, you are going to have to do some self promotions.
So really the big thing that what I'm picking up from you right now is that the big difference between self-publishing and going through the traditional publishing route is more of a marketing thing than it is anything to do with the ability and creativity of the writer. Is that right? So
Yes, it's more about distribution.
oh, okay, yeah,
How
yeah,
widely
yeah.
you can distribute. Yes, how widely you can get your book into different stores, different hands. Yeah.
Now, I have to say, normally I do a prep interview and I let you know some of the questions and things that I would give you. But as you know, last week I had to leave town sporadically to go to Puerto Rico. So you're on the hot plate. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have the opportunity to watch, I have another live show. It's called Dog Talk on Tuesday nights. We have other guests. We do normally do a little bit of prep so they know what questions they're asking. Mercy didn't get that because last week I had to leave town. So yeah, sorry about this. So I'm going to throw you in the hot seat on this and say,
no problem.
you let me know, like, hey, I'm thinking about writing a book. I don't know if I told you this, but I actually wrote my own puppy training book that I published myself through CreateSpace, which you said is now, what is it, KDP?
KDP, yeah.
KDP, okay. So, and ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are interested in talking to Mercy about this, you can write a comment in there, and I can have her follow up with you through Facebook. So all you have to do is throw a comment into the comment section, and that way she can reach out to you. And if you have any direct questions, but so I did that myself as well. So I did the self publishing, but one of the things that I can say is that I was unaware of completely is, like, what are the goods, the bads, what are things that you need to prep for? So, I did it. I wrote the puppy training book and I launched it as quickly as possible. But looking back, I want to make more. Right. So what are the top 5 things I need to do to essentially get started with writing a book?
Oh, well, you definitely want to let your friends and family and fans know that you're about to write a book. One thing that will do is it will help you to stay committed to making sure that you're finished. So you definitely want to tell the people what you're doing. And the other reason why you want to tell people what you're doing is because you want to begin to build the anticipation. Okay, so you want people to anticipate that a book is coming so that they can, they can get ready to purchase and support you in the journey. And then it'll also enable you to get people on board your team, right? Because you're going to need a team, especially when it comes to getting the word out. Okay, so that's something that you definitely want to do. You want to know what you're writing about. And a lot of people get stuck, including myself, right? Including myself, get stuck on to what am I actually going to write about? I mean, maybe for you it's easy because you was tying it into your business, okay?
Yeah.
And so that's one good strategy to do is actually tie it in with your business. But then you might have other interested thoughts and you're like, okay, so where am I going to take this angle? Okay. So you definitely want to take some time to actually figure out a strategy around your book. Is it a book that's actually going to support your legacy in terms of your family? Are you writing as a family heirloom? Or are you writing a book to support your business? Or are you writing a book because you want to extend awareness on a topic, right? So think about that when you're getting ready to write a book. And then, of course, make a decision about which way you want to go, self-publishing, traditional publishing. Some people like self-publishing. Nah, I don't want to do that because people tend to think it's mediocre. But I beg to differ. Like I said, a lot of people are actually choosing that route as opposed to traditional. One, because they get more of the coins. Okay, they get more of the buck. And so those are some things that you definitely want to consider if you are going to write a book.
Okay.
I
So
don't know if I hit all five. I don't know if that was five.
you did have, yeah, I think it won. Yeah, I think we had five things, but I guess that, when we think about some of the things like writer's block they come across, like you said, you really got to make sure that you put, it sounded like you even said that by telling other people, you're putting things in place to keep you on point. So it actually prevents you
Absolutely.
from quitting, I guess. But I guess another big question that comes up a lot would be is, I know when people come to me, they ask me for different ideas, and they are looking to find out their ideas are good. When it comes to book writing, is there really a bad book idea? I mean, the reason why I ask that is this, is that I have personally found I'm starting to travel more than ever, and I meet so many people. And I have personally found, like in my industry, the pet industry, working with dogs and just pets in general, that the personalities just, man, they're all over the place. People from that love your Harry Potter and nonfiction, or I mean fiction, to extreme nonfiction, to how tos, to all that kind of stuff. So I guess the question is that if you're a new writer, you're looking to get something started, is there a bad idea, or is there really a market for every idea when it comes into reading and writing books?
Well, I think really the question is, what is the strategy? You could take an idea of just writing about, some people might have hobbies, right? So they're going to write
Okay.
about their hobbies, which is an interest. So there's going to be a market for certain hobbies.
Yeah.
But really, it's the angle. I would say it's the angle. And so what you want to do is look for an angle that would actually put you in a very advantageous situation. For example, um, I have a dog. Okay, I have a dog. I wasn't raised with having a dog. Okay, we bought our dog in April. We have a husky. Okay, we got her at 9 weeks old. Now I'm African, right? So I'm born and raised in England. My parents are African. We don't do dogs. Okay, we
Okay.
don't do dogs.
Uh,
Okay, so it's like Puerto Rico. You got dogs on the street, but they're
yes,
not like
we do, yeah.
pet dogs. They're not like house dogs, right?
We have them too there. We have house dogs too. Yeah, we do have both. Yeah,
Yeah,
both.
right. But I
Yeah.
mean, those dogs that you see on the street are
Yes.
not house dogs
Correct.
where I'm from, right?
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
so I was saying to myself, this would be so cool, right? I could totally capture a market of individuals that's like me, comes from the same background. We're not used to having dogs, right? And pets in the house, okay? And I could write about it and blog my experience and put it in a book. And I know that it would reach so many people, and we would laugh and giggle, and
Yeah.
it would just be like hilarious, right? Because we
Yeah.
don't know what we're doing, okay? And so my kids, my husband's raised dogs before, okay? And so he practically has to handle that stuff. For me, everything's new. I'm like, the dog food go in the fridge? I'm like, what do we? Dog smells like what dog? What do we do, right?
Yeah.
I'm just so clueless as to what to do with a dog, right? My kids are like, Mom, you can't say that. You can't do that. She's still young. I'm like, she's supposed to be potty trained like in 1 week. Like, what is going on? They're like, no, that's not it. She's still a baby. She's still a
Yeah.
pup, right?
That's
And
right.
so that's an angle. Yeah, everyone has dogs and written about dogs, but the angle is I would be playing on my background to carve in like a niche, right? And could dominate that niche. Okay, so that's what you want to really think about in order for it to be really interesting and advantageous to you, is the angle and the strategy around the book.
Right. Okay. So in that case right there, I mean, you definitely have that new dog owner experience. So I could definitely see people really grasping into that. I mean, I've been in the industry now for 20 years. I can tell you that there is always somebody new
Right.
looking to get into it. So yeah, I could definitely see how that would be awesome. And especially like your experience, like, do you put the dog food in a fridge?
Yeah.
Well, that's a great question, because, based on what food you might get, yes, some has to go in the fridge. So it could really change some kinds of stuff. And that's why even like we made the how-to, but I wrote the how-to book. We launched Dog Owner University now that we can reach across the table and get everybody into knowledge-based things, right? So I will give you a quick tip on training your dog is it takes 30 days to create a habit, 60 days to enforce the habit, 90 days for muscle memory. So when you're teaching something new, give your dog at least a month before you start saying the dog knows it or what it should be, because you need to show consistency along that time period to let them build their habits. Dogs are very habit driven. So you have to repeat, repeat, repeat. And that falls under what they call classical conditioning, which was discovered by Dr. Pavlov, right? So, and I'm sure the same thing happens with book writing, right? Where you first start with writing your book, it's day one, you're like, what do I write? And you're like, but you have to carve out that time to sit down and really focus in and get those steps involved. So I'm going to ask Mercy that you tell everybody real quick how they could find you, where they can find your blogs, where they can find your stuff, since we're running short on time now. So if you could give yourself a quick shout out and let everybody know where they can find all your information, or how they can reach you if they're interested in possibly writing their own book or doing something like that.
Awesome. Okay, so you can reach me. My company is called Legacy Driven Consulting. So you can find me at legacydrivenconsulting.com.
Awesome. All right. So, guys, that's going to pretty much sum this up. And I want to end with a quote, and I think it's perfect. Well, it's not really a quote, but it's a statement today. And I think it's perfect for this conversation, which is this: a mistake that makes you humble is much better than an achievement that would make you arrogant. And the reason why I bring that quote up with Mercy is because, as you can see, she's very energetic and about writing the books. And I know that if you are thinking about writing a book and you want to reach out to her, don't let your fear of making a mistake cause you to not do it. Allow yourself to make a mistake, get out there, get something accomplished, because that way when you make mistakes, because that's the first step to success, you have to fail to succeed. There's no way around it. There is no such thing as success without failure. So be sure to make those mistakes that humble you and allow you to continue to move forward, because when you make those achievements, we don't want you to become an arrogant. You know what I mean? So on that one, I want to say, Mercy, thank you for joining me for Stuck in a Truck. I appreciate your time. It was awesome having you. And maybe we can bring you back. And I hope people reach out to you and get their books made with you. All right?
Yeah, they can also contact me here on Facebook. They can message me if they have a question. I'm open to answering any questions that they have.
Awesome, guys. So what I'll do is later when I repost the video, I'll put I'll tag you in it. That way everybody can see it in the comment section, and you'll be good to go. All right. Thank you, everybody. Awesome. And thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.